Hi Cancer, welcome to your video about the transit of Jupiter in Sagittarius and how it affects Cancer Sun and Rising. And this is from November 8th, 2018 until December 2nd, 2019. And I just wanted to say something right off the bat. I mentioned the date of November 8th of 2018 as the beginning of this transit. But what's very interesting for Cancer is that the day right before that, the North Node goes into your sign. So there might be some connection between these two events. Perhaps for Cancer, since this Jupiter transit is affecting your 6th house, which is your job house, and, you know, like how you serve humanity, your dharma, as well as your health and your daily habits, maybe the North Node going into your sign is related to that in some way. And maybe it's going to be a banner year. And in the case of the North Node, a year plus, year and a half, where a lot of things that are destined come to pass for you, because that's what the North Node represents, the transiting North Node. And then with the Jupiter transit, it's very positive too. These are both positive transits that are affecting Cancer. Now, Jupiter in Sagittarius is great for all of us because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and they are on the same page. Right now, Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is a fellow water sign to you. So there is some affinity that you have with the current Jupiter placement. But Jupiter and Sag are like oil and water in a lot of ways. I mean, Scorpio. Jupiter right now in Scorpio is like oil and water because they represent two different things. Jupiter is very kind of like expansive and prophetic, optimistic, and Scorpio can be kind of suspicious, internal. I would say Jupiter is very external. That expansion is kind of like far and wide. The Three of Wands, you know, kind of wanting those far horizons, or just kind of like yearning for ever-expanding territory. And to me, there is a very retentive quality with Scorpio. And so, even though Jupiter in any sign is going to enhance that sign and tend to create positive effects, it just functions so much better in Sagittarius. So let's look at what the 6th house involves. The 6th house is the house of work. So any Cancers who have been underemployed or unemployed, you shouldn't have any difficulty finding work or finding more work during this almost 13-month period. And so that can be a relief for some of you, but some of you may be like, oh my gosh, you know, I feel like I'm working so much, and how can I even have more work? Well, it doesn't mean that you have to do the work. Jupiter in your 6th house really gives you a sense of freedom, even if you're working for other people. Or you might just decide to go off on your own and be more independent. But if you are working for someone else, this can mean that you feel a greater sense of autonomy, because Sagittarius is definitely a sign that loves freedom, and maybe you gain opportunities to exercise that freedom, even within the parameters of working for somebody else. And you may just be more optimistic about what you're doing. Now, again, if you're somebody who has felt frustrated in recent years about your work situation, because not too long ago, last year, and, from 2015 or mid-2015 until the end of 2017, you had Saturn in this house. And even though Saturn probably works very well in the 6th house, it might not have afforded the same amount of opportunities for you to have multiple, the pick of the litter of the jobs. And so you may have felt kind of restricted, and maybe that experience kind of carried over mentally, and you still are anticipating that. And no, the time has changed. Right? Everything has shifted, and now you should be seeing more opportunities arise. And especially if it's something you like to do. Remember that there's a fortunate aspect to Jupiter. And so you may luck into a certain position that you've always wanted, and it could come through some kind of, roundabout way. This can also offer a lot of opportunities to serve others. So it might even be with volunteer work. And depending on your age, if you are retired and volunteering is really a part of your life, this can increase these opportunities for you. And also finding your dharma, which is your path. If you've been somebody who has felt lost about what's the best way for you to serve, and, even talking about the kind of job that would be good for you, you may find that this is a time period where everything falls into place. And again, with that North Node in your sign, it could be all in divine timing. And I believe that Cancers, being very nurturing, really do care about others and wanting to heal them. And I think there could even be some kind of a spiritual angle in whatever work that you attract, because Sagittarius and Jupiter connect with the God house. So with Cancer being a water sign, healing is second nature to you, something that you naturally excel in. Some of you go into the healthcare industry just by matter of that being what you think represents what you're all about. And that might be the initial stage, but as you evolve, you may find that the type of healing that you want to do is more on the energetic level. And something may come across your path that allows you to do that. Yoga training, maybe some kind of alternative medicine or energy healing like Reiki and shamanic healing. And that feels right to you. The 6th house in connection to work is also about discipline and responsibility and putting in, some effort in perfecting your craft. That's what I would call it, because Virgo rules this house and Virgo is a perfectionist. And I think of the 8 of Pentacles, and Pentacles relate to Earth. I don't know if the 8 of Pentacles specifically relates to Virgo. It certainly should. So you may be at a stage with a particular work situation where you're trying to learn the ropes and trying to do a good job. Maybe you're at the initial stage for some of you, and with Jupiter here, it really just enhances you and gives you those lucky breaks that even if you screw up from time to time, it's like the universe has your back and you are protected, divinely protected in a certain way. But the angle of long-distance travel that's associated with Jupiter and Sagittarius could play into some of these job opportunities, maybe even volunteer opportunities. Perhaps you volunteer in a foreign country and they like your work and they want you to stay on as a paid employee. And so not only do you get the expansion of living in a different country, but then you also get paid for it, and you might be over the moon. Pardon the pun, since you are somebody that is ruled by the moon, and that's when I talk about healthcare. Health is connected to the moon, and the 6th house is connected to health. So both of these influences certainly could be about you. And also, what the 6th house represents is health in terms of your health. So if you've had any health conditions, you might be guided to some sort of practitioner that is right for you. And likewise, you may enhance your health by habits that you undertake. In some cases, these may be things that you do that it has to do with adding things to your life. Maybe you add certain foods that are helpful to create optimal health, or you add exercise of some sort, or multiple forms of exercise that enhance your health. Jupiter is all about expanding opportunities. From comments I've read and also astrology information, they say, watch out for gaining weight during this transit because of the expansive nature of Jupiter. Well, I have something to say about that. The 6th house is not the only house I've read implicated with an increase in weight. So it's something that we can never say, oh, that's a done deal. Some people want to gain weight, by the way, so it's not like everybody wants to release weight. For those people who are looking to lose weight, understand that Jupiter expands things. Now, Jupiter can expand your discipline, your self-discipline. Remember, that's a key word of the 6th house. It can expand your sense of responsibility. So if you feel like you have been a little bit slacking off when it comes to your health, you may kind of step up your game. And you may do so for specific reasons that you feel obligated to keep your body at a high level. Maybe you've recently had children and you want to be healthy for them. Maybe you decide to not necessarily go to a gym if that's not something that interests you, but at least start moving more. Jupiter is about more, but you might do something good health-wise more. So to me, when I hear things like that, and then people are parroting them over and over again, this is just because there's a tendency to think negatively. But maybe because I am a sun in Sagittarius, I see the glass half full. And I believe that the 6th house doesn't mean you have to stuff your face. And actually, I associate the 6th house with alternative health. And because of Virgo being an earth sign and natural eating. So you may increase that in your life and that can benefit you. And if you need to let go of some weight, you might be able to. And maybe because, I don't know if this is a stretch, but I think that because Sagittarius is a fire sign, you might really burn it off. Actually, the fact that Jupiter is in Scorpio and Scorpio is a water sign, I think water signs tend to retain water. And that, gives the appearance of having more weight. And it might be just that the person is retaining more water than they normally do. But I think that this is going to be a very prosperous time for you, because if you're working more, that means you're going to be earning more money. And I also think that you're going to feel more of a sense of purpose, and also maybe a great boost to your health. Maybe you will find a health practitioner or multiple ones who can identify any problems that you've been experiencing and help you with that, or just to give you a game plan if you just want general information. And you may feel this sense of like benefiting from a routine, benefiting from discipline. You may even be traveling for work and really reaping the benefits of that. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Cancer. If you would like a reading specific to your natal chart, I have a couple linked below. And good luck to you. Take care.